The Oilgarchy is coiled around your neck. You can see at the gas pump, in your heating bill, the cost of everything is just more and more goes to them until there's nothing left for the rest of us. So we have to build communities that don't need those fossil fuels, and we can build communities that are completely free of fossil fuel addiction, dependency. And that's what an ARC is. It's an awesomely resourceful community. We can build communities that use a fraction of the natural resources of another community. So they talk about the next industrial revolution. The first industrial revolution was the efficient use of labor, where basically with a mechanical loom, one weaver could do the work of 400 hand weavers, right? And even though the Luddites who hated technology came in and said, well, let's destroy the looms, they just built more looms. There was no turning back history, right? And the communities that invested in looms are the communities that that wove the cloth. They captured the industry, and they thrived, and they generated wealth. Well, we're going to have to build communities that use 1/400th of the fossil fuels of another community. And we can travel from one community to another community on a roller coaster and then ride up an elevator and shoot down on a roller coaster to another one. We don't need these huge amounts of oil and gas, and we don't need to be hauling it around on the roads. We need transportation methods that get us where we're going without hauling around metals and glass and oils and lubricants and we can build communities that don't need fossil fuels to heat or cool. They're dug into the earth, which is 55 degrees always. So with a little passive solar, suddenly you're comfortable no matter what the temperature is outside. It could be 40 degrees below or 140 degrees. You're comfortable because we're in the earth and we're not using fossil fuels to heat or cool. And we're pretty much walking to where we need to go, except for this modular transportation system that, leaves electric vehicles in the dustbin of history. And ARCs are awesomely resourceful communities. They recycle water, they grow food, they raise fish, they leave open land for nature, for life, for beloved creation. We have been too greedy on the earth, and we need to walk lighter, and we need to allow more life to thrive. We need to allow abundance to thrive. We can build communities where humans are in a small footprint and we are looking out at the wild. And yeah, sometimes we go and we get provisions from that supermarket. Unless we decide not to. We all want to turn vegetarian, great, but I'm going to need some pretty good cooks because I suck at vegetarian cooking. So we build ARCs. This is our Noah moment. The epoch is changing. The ice is melting. Stockton is going to be underwater in my daughter's lifetime. I don't care who did it. If you want to argue about the facts of it, then get out of my way, because I have to protect my children. And if you want to protect your children too, then join this organization that is beginning to bring people together, called For Our Descendants. It can be found at the number 4 RD, so 3 characters, the number 4 RD.club is the URL for it, and that's where you'll be able to enroll. There is a design for an increasingly complex cooperative structure that I will be submitting for unanimous consent. Part of this structural design is unanimous consent circles that oscillate consent up and down. A fractal system, I believe a quantum system. I believe it can be a representation of quantum love. We can create a entity that loves us and takes care of us and nurtures us, and we nurture it, and it is how we work out our differences and work together for the greater whole, for the grace of non-zero. So we're looking for weavers. Weavers are people who weave together 10 people. As the thing takes form, we're going to put ideas for how to build these arcs, these communities, how to connect them, what land to do it on. And everyone will play a role, and out of it, people will get new homes, and they will get the satisfaction to know that they made a world that their children can potentially thrive in whatever epoch comes. Right? And if the epoch doesn't change and we go back into the Holocene equilibrium, then great. Awesome. You know, you don't buy fire insurance because your house is going to burn down. You buy fire insurance because 1 out of 5,000 houses burn down. Right? So let's plan for what might be coming. Let's build a better world, and if it doesn't come, then we've built a more complex cooperative structure, and we have solved the free rider problem, which is endemic at all levels of society. Cooperators capture the effects of their cooperation. That's how a cooperative system evolves. That's what the theory of the evolution of cooperation tells us. So, be a commontier. Commons is the oldest word in language. It was written on an Assyrian clay cuneiform tablet, that they roll out on clay and can make copies just like a mimeograph machine. And it was a contract between growers of barley and brewers. So many bushels of barley got you so many casks of beer at the end. If you just showed up with your little piece of clay tablet. So, commons are the way life works, right? Predation and free riders and parasites and, they don't ultimately create vibrant systems on their own. You need a system where cooperators capture the effects of their cooperation. And just like in the development of the cell, in the evolution of cooperation, once you have that cell, you got to be within the cell. And this design talks about basically cells within cells into ultimately a social multicellular organism that is in our control still. It's not run by kings and tyrants and demagogues and free riders. So if you think you're a weaver, if you can bring 10 people together, sign up for that. And we'll have a Zoom call, the 10 people and me, and we can share ideas, and I can tell you how I see the structure of it, and you can decide whether you agree with that structure or not, or you could propose something new. That's how a commons works. That's how a decentralized but coordinated system, or a confederation in the style of Daganowida, that's how they work. So there's a design there, there's a science there. Christian List has studied honeybees. Thomas Malone has studied complexity theory. They've studied reciprocal altruism, vampire bats, and on and on and on. It's deep into our DNA: cooperation, collaboration. And we need a new one now, and that's the idea that I'm sharing here at, it's my gift to the whole, to the greater one. So, join me if it sounds of interest. If not, best of luck. I wish you well in your life.